The key, the foundation of all this, as far as what's going to happen at the end time, is this war that the dragon, Satan, goes to make with the woman and her offspring. The dragon goes incognito and assumes the identity of this first beast. And I ended up yesterday discussing some of the characteristics of this beast, and I challenged you to make a parallel between the mortal wound that this beast receives and then comes back to life to the story of Jesus Christ, who died and was resurrected. And I said, see if you can find other parallels between this first beast coming out of the sea and the person and the ministry of Christ. If you found, feel free to post them in the comment section. I'm going to suggest just a couple more here. You see where this beast is rising out of the sea. When Jesus Christ started his ministry, what was the first thing he did? He was baptized in the water by John the Baptist. He came out of the water, and that's how he started his ministry. This is exactly what this beast is doing, mimicking, counterfeiting, and trying to destroy and distract from the work of Christ. He comes out of the sea, out of the water. It's like baptized in a way to officially start its ministry. It has horns, has heads, 10 diadems. If you read in the book of Revelation, Jesus Christ in various places and other places in the Bible is described interestingly. Not just the devil has horns, but Christ has horns. In the positive sense, horns are a symbol of power and authority and rulership in Bible prophecy. He's described as having horns. He's described as having diadems. The dragon, which is Satan, gave his power and his throne and great authority to this first beast. What did Jesus say when the Pharisees and other people asked him during his ministry here on earth, where do you get the authority to do these things? Again and again he said, the Son can do nothing unless the Father gives it to him. You know, my whole authority, he said, comes from the Father. So it's this delegation of authority and power that both Jesus and this beast enjoy during their ministry. Just like Christ had his authority from God the Father, this first beast gets his authority from Satan. So we are beginning to see here a parallel between the concept of the Holy Trinity that a lot of Christians have about God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, which we haven't talked yet, but when we get to the land beast a little bit lower in this chapter, we'll see that that land beast resembles the work of the Holy Spirit quite well. And on the other hand, you have this unholy trinity between the dragon, the Satan, between this first beast that is counterfeiting the work and person of Christ, and the land beast, which we're going to discuss later, as I said. If you want more parallels here, we talked about the mortal wound already, you know, that both Christ and this beast and the resurrection, the healing from that wound happened. We can talk about, you know, the whole earth marveling and following the beast. The same thing happened with Jesus. His ministry and his followers' ministry is a universal mission over the whole world. Well, this beast is trying to do the same and counterfeit that work. You know, this is all about worship. The people of earth worship the beast. And Christ, God, what he's asking us to do is to really to worship him. So it's an issue of worship more so than of wars and conquering, and that's part of it. But the central issue in this whole thing is, who do we worship and who do we give our allegiance to? So there's this issue of haughty and blasphemous words. In the biblical context, remember when Jesus was almost killed by his contemporaries? What their objection to him was that he assumed the title of God. You know, when he said before Abraham was, I am, when he said I am, he assumed to himself the title of God in the Jewish culture. When God presented himself to Moses in the burning bush, he gave himself the title, I am who I am. So again, when Jesus assumed that title, the Pharisees were like, you know, this guy went way over, he deserves to be killed and stoned. And in fact, what Caiaphas judged him and sentenced him to be killed, it was precisely because he answered yes when he asked him, are you the Messiah, the Son of the Most High? And Jesus said yes, and Caiaphas ripped his priestly robes and said, what other proof do we need? He blasphemed. where this concept of blasphemy is central in this identity of the first beast. This first beast is uttering haughty and blasphemous words. You know, the diadems on its horns are blasphemy. So the concept of blasphemy in Bible simply means that somebody, in this case, this first beast, assumes the prerogatives, the identity, the power, the authority of God. This beast pretends to be God. You know, it's mimicking the work of Christ, but it's not just imitating it. He presents himself as a replacement, as a substitute of Christ. And this is who this first beast is. Anyways, running out of time again today here. We'll continue